Dum, dum, dum. Dum, 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 dum.
Feedback. Oh my god. I can never get this thing working. One of them perfectly.
You're not streaming the Discord.
No, I said I hadn't turned my YouTube sounds off. Good morning. So I was feeding back because of the delay or whatever it is. Yeah, well, we got a good starting crew. Well, we got Robert Mack. I know he was in a bit earlier. Yeah, sorry, Robert. An engineer just can't start early when he's got a schedule. You know how that works. Oh, it's all gone out of focus. Scary. Maybe it's an improvement. Who knows? And Andy Stubbs, good morning from Gotham City. Yes, well, Batman's not going to save you now, is he? And was it Mr. Mitch? Good morning. Well, good evening. And Warren Theod, namesake follower there. Music, lights, action. Yes, Paul in Sydney. How you doing? Thomas, obviously, he is on the Discord with Luke. So, g'day. Say hello, Thomas. Oggy. Say hello.
Oggy.
Oggy. Oi.
Did I not say hello?
I don't know. You probably
Can you not hear me?
I can hear you, yes. And then we got Luke. I think Luke has gone off to make himself.
No, I'm back. Hello.
Oh, there he is. He's gone off to make
He's got his coffee. He's trying to stay awake through this.
I do.
Fair enough. I don't know. Well, yeah, drinking coffee at 10 o'clock at night. It's almost as bad as me last night. I think I had a vodka Red Bull at 7. Yeah, it's enough to keep you awake.
Shoot, if I drank coffee at this point of the night, I'd be out like a light.
Yeah, you reckon? You're going to try vodka Red Bull. Yeah, so look, I was thinking of a bunch of different things to talk about today, but they're all miscellaneous things. And of course, the big story of today is the 6,000 subscriber milestone, which we just clocked over this wall. Was it this week? I think it was actually on Saturday last week or something. I can't remember the exact day. But yeah, so we turned over the 6,000 subscribers. So again, a special thank you for all those people who have left comments on the video and on my Facebook and everywhere else we posted it. Much appreciated. It's those little things that keep on sort of giving you the confidence to go on, you know.
I refuse to comment.
That's all right. It's all right. You can refuse to comment. Yes, there's a few little different articles to go on, but I thought, well, let's start out with some funny shit. I might actually do this as a starter while everybody gets here and go to my Callisti TV page and look at all the funny shit that's going on. There we go. Might as well start get August started. There we go. I don't know if you remember that movie. Do you remember the movie? Was it Gremlins?
Yes. Don't feed Warren after midnight.
Yes, all right. Well, let me share the screen so you get the live version of that. Hold on. So you don't have to wait for the 10-second delay. Yes, what else have we got? Yeah. On average, the panda feeds for 15 hours a day. This is the same as an adult at home under quarantine, which is why we call it a pandemic.
Okay, that one's cute.
That's cute. Okay, second week in isolation, feeding the ducks. Yeah. Okay, there we go. I thought this one was funny. Admit it. Now you want a battleship kayak.
Oh, yes. I think for me it would have to be like an aircraft carrier, though.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Then I can have remote control planes that take off and land.
I may not be that good looking or athletic or funny or talented or smart. I forgot where I was going with this, but I do know I love bacon.
Everybody loves bacon. It's the gateway. It's the gateway meat for vegetarians everywhere.
10 paradoxicons there to tickle your brain. I actually looked up the word paradoxicon. It was quite an interesting little article.
Paraprosdokian.
Yeah, I can't even say the word. Where there's a will, I want to be in it. No, you can read that one later. It's a bit too long.
Yes.
Why must I prove that why must I prove who I am to pay my bills over the phone? Do strangers call to pay my bills? And if they do, why don't you let them?
Exactly. Wouldn't that be nice? People call up and pay your bills for you?
I want you to try on my clothes. I want to make you my girl. Yeah, well, I thought it was funny. You had one job. Left turn. They had one job. Yeah. Different types of silencers. Yes, the gun silencers and the one that goes behind the bedpost. I thought that was funny. And and I'm not sure this social distancing thing is working or necessary. But hey, I'm the kind of person who just loves to follow instructions.
We actually have blue lines at work in the men's room.
Well, you got to piss from the blue line, have you?
Yeah, that's why I was making fun of that as well. I was like, man, I can't reach.
I'm just going to piss on the floor.
There she is asking E.T., are you coming back? Hell no. When your boss asks for proof you're in hospital. So the earphones, you know.
Yes.
I don't know why this meme is so popular. It really isn't that funny. It's quite cute. Patrick, how you doing? Robert Groves, good morning. Yes, Rob, still haven't got it finally squared away with Chanya, but we're thinking we're going to drive down Tuesday, stay overnight, and do some swimming and drink some salsa, Samsung. Is it Samsung? That's the rub, is it? Sam, I don't know. Maybe we'll just drink whiskey. I don't know. There we go. Stop doing this shit to your pictures. You know, like the way like the girls are always smoothing out their wrinkles. It makes the Yoda look so fucking weird. Honestly.
That was just before they got the rendering right.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Never let your past determine your future. A little bit of a, yeah, what did we learn during lockdown? Mum's a pisshead. Dad's shit at DIY. You can wipe your ass with newspaper. Of course, all those people who are used to looking at the interview thing from Pornhub. That's what my girlfriend's so sweet. She sent me a pic from her job interview today. Good luck. Of course, if you don't watch Pornhub or something like that, then you don't get the you don't get the meme, obviously. Sang song.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. Yep. Just let us know. Yeah, we'll finalise the end of the day, Rob. So it's not a problem. Built 50 years ago, still looks better than the junk they make you today. Yeah, no, tell me about it. Looks very similar to the what do you call it? The 5.8 litre Cobra we had from Ford in Australia. Not quite sure what brand that is. Is it?
Well, that is a Chevy SS.
A Chevy SS, is it?
Yep. It was could be a Chevelle.
Mm.
Yeah, that's Detroit heavy steel.
Right, Johnny Bonda. Who's the interviewer? I don't know. Yes, exactly. Anyway, a propeller is just a big fan in front of the plane to keep your pilot cool. When it stops, you can actually see the pilot sweating.
That's right.
That's right. Of course, there's Dr. Evil. This pandemic isn't working anymore. Go ahead and start the race war. And people write congrats because they can't spell congratulations. Exactly. When your kid pulls ahead of you in Mario Kart. I can just see it, yes. I'm pretty sure I saw Flint Flintstone drive past our house today. No, they do all more or less. There's heaps there. You just got to go and plug into the page if you haven't already.
This is your Callisti TV postings.
Yeah, this is all the postings of my. I thought it's a good start to get everybody here. Like we've got 20 people there, so we can get the show on the road now. Dr. Evil, Dan Andrews, exactly, Andrew. And that's exactly what it's like down there. Oh, you don't know how you guys are coping. You haven't shot the guy yet? Really? 1 minute you're young and fun, and next you're turning down the stereo to see better. How do you wish to pay? Visa, MasterCard, or toilet paper? There's a few of the classics anyway.
That one's getting a bit dated now, isn't it?
That is a bit now. I don't know. I think they had a second run on toilet paper in Victoria recently.
Did they?
Yeah, that is second run. Yeah.
I was almost in some serious trouble today. My water went out.
Oh yeah. What caused that? Well, you didn't pay the water bill or something?
No, what do you call it? They had a water line issue in our park, so they had it shut off.
Well, I got the video coming out next on my thing. I don't know if it's
so that means my bum gun wasn't working.
Yeah. Oh really? Oh, end of the world.
Yeah, I got water for the bum gun.
On that bum gun issue, I was actually in the Emporium yesterday. That's the big shopping centre. And I had to relieve myself, sit down and relieve myself. And they don't have bum guns in the Emporium. It's the first time I've had to actually wipe my ass with toilet paper for like 3 years. And like I thought, it actually, in one sense, it felt gross to wipe your ass with fucking toilet paper. It really did. I'm so used to it now with the bum gun. Just, how can people do that? That is just gross.
No comment.
No comment.
It's gotten to the point where my cousin actually put instead of the bum gun, she put a bidet attachment on her toilet.
Oh, okay. That's the
she's loving it.
Under seat thing.
Yeah.
Points automatically. Yeah, I suppose that's not with it.
She's got a couple controls on the right hand side there. She can increase the pressure. She can change the angle.
Yeah.
It's like I'll just take my gun.
Yeah, I think Tim said he did that in his house in Canada. He put a bidet or whatever this, heated bidet. Because I don't say how you could do Canada without freaking heated water. God, that'd just kill you. That's what Trump looks like when he takes his right. Fair enough. Yes. What is this? I don't understand. If you know what this is, you're as old as dirt. Anyhow, okay, who doesn't know what that is? Honestly, who doesn't know what that is?
I got one sitting in front of me right now.
That was one of the things.
I think we're all just qualify as old as dirt here, just about. So.
Well, I had 300 albums in my collection before I came here, but I had to give them away, which is a real shame.
I have 400.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have 400 right now.
It's just one of those things. It's just it would have been 60, 70 kilos of vinyl. Bring them over here. Where would I put them? Even if I did ship them over here, God, it's just one of those shames, unfortunately. Key1 Noons turntable. I want one. Yes, that's right. With two older sisters, I recall my dad's bum gun was A 12 gauge.
Shoot him in the ass.
Shoot him in the
Load
ass.
it with rock salt and bacon rind.
That's it. I can imagine. Right. I've seen the t-shirts. Don't worry. What's the next one? The last thing a Pringle sees before it dies. Mr. Mitch, I'm a petrified rook. Dalo, good afternoon. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, so this is our 6,000 subscriber special. So it's just going to be completely off the cuff. I got 3 articles. I don't know. Do we want to do the articles first and then just chat afterwards, or what? I don't know. It's up to you guys. We can. I've got all.
You're the victim. I mean, you're the
you're the victim.
You're the leader of this outfit.
Leader, right? Leader. I don't want to be a leader of anything.
Would you rather be a gallon instead?
Well, actually, that was one of the topics I was thinking of doing, and I do want to do that topic. Where have all the leaders gone? You know, it recalls a book back in the late '90s I read from John Maxwell called "The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership," and you just got to read. You know, I've got a sort of condensed version of that PDF there, which we could talk about, but it's like I thought it's probably too intellectual for everybody here, so I said, stuff it. Do we
Hear that? He's calling us a bunch of deadheads.
Do you really want an intellectual conversation on a Saturday morning? Really? Or in some people's Friday night? Yeah. And Mr. Mitch, up to you. Let's get the articles out of the way. I thought there was 3 articles that were worth talking about. The first one is obviously the state of tourism, because I guess all you guys want to know the state of tourism here in Thailand. So this has been all over the news over the last 2 or 3 days. It got passed by, well, again, here in Thailand, things are so changeable. We really don't know whether anything's really rock solid. But it's looking very, very highly likely right now that Thailand will allow long stay tourists in the island of Phuket from October. There's a lot of caveats. So let's go through that. So nice little snapshot there of is that what is that island? I don't know. International predominantly Russian nationals enjoying the beach despite concerns over the spread. That was March 20th, okay, on Phuket. Okay, Thailand will allow foreign tourists to visit for longer stays from October, a senior official said on Friday, as the government tries to revive a key economic sector that has been devastated by the pandemic. Sorry, did I say pandemic? What pandemic? It's a pandemic. Tourists have to stay for at least 30 days, with the first 14 days in quarantine in a limited vicinity of their hotel. So they're going to this is in where are they doing it? I think it's Phuket. So this is obviously the island. So they can stop people from leaving in the actual island, because I think there's a bridge that connects it to the mainland. So they have to spend, well, one article I read was 7 days in quarantine with multiple checks every day or every couple of days. You know, they just don't go like, you still got to get your health certificate to come. You know, so you got to be virus free. You got to get a certificate virus free or something. Look, there's probably already written here anyway. Let me just read through the whole article. I haven't actually read it. But yeah, so some articles sort of said 7 days. They're going to section off hotels so you can't actually leave that area. That's the quarantine area. Then they'll be allowed to actually enter the main population in Phuket. The announcement comes after authorities suspended plans to create travel bubbles with partner countries as the number of coronavirus in Asia rose. Yeah, so pretty much every country that almost got rid of everything, right, they've all had second waves, and we had a couple of scares here this week from some people where the actual test process, right, the antibodies that they've got because they've had the pandemic or they had the virus in their body is actually triggering concerns the fact that they're showing up as a positive for, because they were actually going to leave the country again, so they have to have a health certificate to leave, and the swab test that they've got is picking up the antibodies as being the virus. So God, you just can't win with this shit, can you? It's obviously thrown some big, red flags, and everybody's in a bit of a panic. They've gone and back. They're doing massive backtracking because that was sort of like they came back in June, did their 14 days in quarantine here, obviously mingled with the population, right? So they're now backtracing everybody from middle of June through to the middle of August now, and everywhere you've been, but so far nothing's showed up, but it's still early days. Anyway, visitors will visitors will have to take 2 tests during the quarantine before they are able to travel to the rest of the island. Staff will have to remain in the hotel, so staff won't be allowed to leave into the main population as well. Basically, the staff will be quarantined because they're not allowed to mingle. They'll have staff separated from the main staff in the hotel. Oh, it's going to be a complete, absolute nightmare. Thailand has gone, Australia, whatever. Government coronavirus task force extended. The emergency decree has been extended another month till the end of September. Tourist-related economy has been battered by the collapse of travel and infectious spread. Southeast Asia's second largest economy shrank by 12.2% in the second quarter. Let's just face it, the whole world is in recession. What classifies as a depression? Because a recession is two quarters.
So Warren,
Yep.
are they effectively quarantining Phuket away from the rest of Thailand?
Yeah, from what the other articles, this is the top. When I did the search to get an article, this was the top one. There was like a dozen articles on Google search. This is just the top one. Other ones have different bits and pieces. One article said 7 days in that hotel before they can mingle. This one's saying 14 days. It is only on Phuket. Right.
So, basically, Phuket's become a leper colony?
Yeah, Phuket is beginning to become a leper colony. Nobody is allowed to leave Phuket. These people will never be allowed to.
That's pretty smart, actually. I mean, it keeps the rest of Thailand isolated from, getting it from the tourists, but they still get the tourist income.
I don't know. The first thing that came to my mind was Snake Plissken.
Yes. Yeah. Escape from Phuket. I can see it now.
Escape from Phuket. Yes, because that's the thing.
Starring.
Okay.
What was his name? Oh, he's married to Goldie Hawn. Not married, but he's lives with Goldie Hawn. Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. That's it. Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, that was Escape from New York, and what was the other one? There was a sequel.
Escape from L.A.
Escape from LA.
Everybody wants to forget that one. Yeah. Everybody wants to forget the sequel.
And of course, they had to get across the bridge. That was the thing. That's the thing. So Phuket, the only thing that connects Phuket, it's an island, it's going to connect to the mainland. Oh, I can see the movies coming out of that one right now. Can I get the rights? Yeah, that might be an interesting movie. But yeah, so yeah, they won't be allowed to leave the island. And look, it's going to look. Really, they're going to have to do some tests if they really want to revive the industry. There was also some of the other articles sort of indicated they may also do that for Koh Samui. But I think they're looking at it's got to have inbound flight capabilities, right, and it's got to have the same restrictive arrangements before they'll do it, right, and the minimum stay is 30 days. So, really what you're saying, so effectively, if you were an Australian, you'd have to have a 45-day holiday scheduled because you got 2 weeks in holiday, 2 weeks in the hotel, then you got 2 weeks, mingling. And then when you fly back to Australia, they're going to shove you in a freaking quarantine for another 2 weeks. So yeah, you need 6 weeks to have a 2-week holiday. Somehow I really don't think this is going to work, and I don't think many people are going to be all that interested. But maybe, so I think what they're trying to do here possibly will be for the, what do you call it, the elite visa tourists. This is the, that was something that I mentioned, I think, on the video last week, that looked like they were talking that day that elite visa holders were going to be allowed in, right, through some sort of, quarantining arrangement. But that was quashed in Parliament. Sort of said, no, we're not having it. And so within sort of 6 hours of it being said or being suggested, it was basically stamped as not happening. But this is obviously step 2. They want the elite tourists. Elite tourists, obviously they can come for 12, or they can come for 5 years. But yeah, they're the people with the money. They've paid, and that's the thing. So they've paid that organisation money to get their visa, and they can't come to Thailand. And that's obviously affecting that particular business model. If you got here before March, then you're all good. You're in the country. You still can't leave, but there you go. That's what it's all about. And there's money involved. That's all. What can I say? The money seems to drive the whole thing. So just reading back to the comments there. Did anything I missed that was
Show me the
important?
money.
Accommodation, great. Breakfast was good. What was he talking about? Breakfast where? Just landed in Thailand last night. Okay. First day in quarantine. Okay, so whereabouts are you staying, K1? Did you indicate where you're staying at? Be interesting to know. Kurt Russell, LA, so stuck to you. Travel agent would be, travel agent, it would be 15 nights, yes. Maurice, we guess we have retard running out. Yes, definitely the zero leadership skills, and why the Democrats would put up that complete, it's like with a Dumb and Dumber, isn't it? I don't know what's happened to American politics. Where's the leadership gone? I suppose anybody in politics is so dirty now that the fact that they can't find somebody who's morally sound anymore, and maybe that's the fact that anybody in their upper class areas of America basically have zero morals, and anything can be dirty these days. I don't know how it works. I think that's the way it is with money, isn't it? Was it if they keep giving us crap options, yeah, tell me about it. The quarantine hotels in Melbourne are shocking bed bugs, not enough food. Really? I haven't really had any stories about the quarantine arrangements, but surely they could do better than 3-star hotels. What about all the 5-star hotels? Aren't they suffering? Can't tie shoes. Yeah. Staying in the Grand Central Point Hotel. Grand Central Point. Let me see if I can get a location on that. Control C. We'll go to Google Maps. We'll get a rough location. Terminal 21. Okay, fair enough. I was in there last night, or in there I was actually Soy 7. We were down at the Emporium down here, which is M Quarter. I had lunch there, and then we caught the BTS up to see Susie, and took a wander around. Went home early, 7 o'clock. But yeah, so if you're in town, K1, is that how we pronounce it, K1? 14 days from now, you can come and join us at the Emporium on a Friday afternoon if you want, and mingle with the expats and tell us your stories. We might even put you on video. Make a video, do an interview. How was your stay? Hit me up on my Facebook page. Maybe we can organise something. Could be a video for 2 weeks' time. Be interested to actually talk about a quarantinee who's escaped the quarantine. Of course, I don't know what your plans are after that, but anyway, we can sort of definitely think about it. It's a Sukhumvit 55, yeah. The Sukhumvit 55. No, it's sort of Sukhumvit 22. I used to think politics might be an option, but with skeletons in my closet kind of puts me, yeah. I think we all have skeletons in our closet at some sort of level, you know. But yeah, some of the skeletons that are coming out, I do, God, seriously. My skeletons was my predilection for having a lot of kinky fun, you know. Would that preclude me from politics?
Or either that or get you elected.
Get me elected, yeah.
See, if you would just admit it up front instead of trying to hide it, you could say, look, this is what I've done. These are the things you guys will find out about me. I'm just going to tell you up front.
Right, okay, like, this is exactly what Robert A. Johnson said in his book, you know, Owning Your Own Shadow.
I inhaled. I have done lines of cocaine.
Yeah, so that's, you know, like, God, you keep on saying the same thing. I smoked cannabis for pretty much most of my life. They say it dumbs you down. And, you know, like, seriously, the Mensa test I did. And
just think how smart you'd be if you hadn't have smoked that shit.
Yeah, that's right. God, you know, it should be up there with Einstein. They actually said Einstein only had an IQ of 141 anyway, so or something like that. So it was, you know, in comparison, 70 years ago, I could have been an Einstein. Who knows? Maybe in a maybe I'm Einstein reincarnated. Who knows? We can always dream. But yes, it's sort of my closet. Robert A. Johnson said in his book, you know, Owning Your Own Shadow, to get out in front of it, you know, make it part of your life. You know, it's nothing wrong. It's experience. You know, we come to this planet with nothing. We leave this planet with nothing. The only thing you can really look forward to is experiences. Right, and you know, provided it's morally acceptable, then you know, I think it's the amount of experience you gain that really matches your worth, doesn't it? Better than some of these bloody politicians who seem to live a life of closeted homophobia or closeted whatever. The one in Australia. What is that? Was it ScoMo? Actually, I had a little. Where is it? I think I saved it on my list there. Oh, where is it? Where had I come across this one the other day? Where is it? This will probably get a copyright strike, I'm sure. If I can find where I saved it. There it is. There. Open with, I don't know, do you remember seeing this one? Open with films and TV.
In 2018, the Liberal Party hired PR firm Hill Douglas to craft an election-winning persona for its new leader, Scott Morrison.
This one was tough. I mean, here is a bloke who worshipped a lump of coal in Parliament. He was an asshole to refugees.
A lump of coal.
He abstained from voting on marriage equality. And then he votes against a Royal Commission on banking 26 times.
I mean, he had his arm around the old Prime Minister while his backroom men were doing his numbers.
And I'm ambitious for him.
Yeah, good on you.
For Scott Morrison to win this election, we had to kill Scott Morrison.
And that's when we invented
ScoMo.
ScoMo's a completely different guy. I mean, stick him in a cap, send him out to do some dickhead shit.
The first thing ScoMo needed was a slogan.
But we needed something a little
Yeah,
different.
I love this bit.
We needed to sound meaningful, but not be.
But not
You
be.
have a go in this country, you'll get a go.
You'll get
We
a go.
always want Australians who have a go to get a go.
Yeah, have a
If
go,
you have
get a go.
You get a go.
A go.
A go. What is a
No one knows
go?
what that is, but everyone wants one.
With the election
I wanna
looming,
go.
the team from Hill Douglas set about devising their campaign strategy.
And that's when we came up with a strategy that we call Ask, don't tell.
Ask, but
How
don't
good
tell.
is Gladys Liu? How good's Trevor Evans? How good is Gladys Berejiklian?
Then you don't give them time to think whether it's actually good or not.
How good's John Howard?
How good's Dave Sharma?
She's a former Afghani. How good's that?
It's turned into a drinking game for us. How good is that? Boom. How good is that? Woo. How good is that? Woo. How good is
The hardest part of this brief was that if ScoMo talks about the past, it reminds voters about the spills. But if he talks about the future, it could trigger another one. He needs to keep voters hypnotised in the present.
And that's when we came up with a whole new tense for the English language. The future past. He even used it in the debate.
We brought the budget back to surplus next year. And
Did you catch that?
we brought the budget back to surplus next year.
We brought it back next year.
He's already done it.
Today is a big day. ScoMo is speaking at the Liberal Party's campaign launch.
See, the party's got a problem with women,
Anyway, enough of
right?
that,
So we
enough
need
of
to...
that shit. if you follow Australian politics, it's just as loopy as American politics. It really is. You'll find that somewhere on the ABC. It's on their ABC news feed, I think it is. Whatever. David SK. Well, I remember during the car show there was no Harley Davidson. I saw a TV ad last night advertising Harley Davidson in Australia. Really? Yeah, sort of Harley Davidson just wasn't at the show. I think Harley Davidson is really well. I've seen a few posts on their Facebook feed because I've liked their page, but there's big sales on Kawasaki right now. Kawasaki have got giving 20, 30, 40,000 baht off if you buy in August because it came there's been a downturn in people buying motorcycles because it's the wet season. That was, of course, brings me to my next post. So, moving right along, Cabinet approves new driving licence rules. Yeah, so supposedly, this is just the crazy stuff that we hear even time. Additional requirements for people seeking to obtain or renew driver's licences have been approved by Cabinet according to the Department of Land Transport. The Kingdom is aiming to reduce road traffic accidents, and the Cabinet recently approved the need for motorists to have health certificate and special training, the department said. Right, now health certificate, you've always required a health certificate. Well, I had to go and get a health certificate when I got my renewal, was it 2 years ago? Yeah, so but go in, they give you blood pressure, you look healthy, there you go, here's your certificate. I don't know if it's got any more than just that, but as I said, this is one of those things. How's it going to be enforced? It's been a bit bizarre. They sort of department said the Cabinet approved a plan to reduce accidents, enhance road safety and respond to current problems. If the rules are approved by government, right, this is still got to go through that process yet, those seeking to obtain or renew licences will have to have their health certified, while those wishing to drive big bikes or powerful motorcycles will need a special training before allowed on the road. So this is it's going through as big bikes or powerful motorcycles. That motorcycle I was talking about, which is the Kawasaki 4-cylinder 250, honestly,
Big bike.
that's a big bike, right? They're trying to say anything over 400 cc's is a big bike. Powerful motorcycle. What's a powerful motorcycle? Quite honestly, they've just lost all sensibility. Something like 60% of the motorcycle accidents here in Thailand are on 125c, step-through scooters of people not wearing helmets, and I think 75% of those people in those accidents do not have any license whatsoever. So how is this really going to help? Honestly, it's a crazy situation. I don't know what the hell they've come up. Who comes up with these harebrained ideas? Right, okay, yeah, what does it mean? It means the fact that, when I renew my license, I'm going to have to do a test of some description. I'm going to have some sort of Thai who's probably never ridden a big bike in his life, he's going to try to tell a guy that's ridden big bikes for 35 years that, how well do you ride a bike? Well, for crying out loud, it's like, God, give me a break here. Give me a break. Honestly, it's crazy shit. Why don't they do what the simple thing is? Introduce a system like they did in Australia, right? I know it's easy to bring in. Doesn't matter who you are, bike license, right, or car license. You need to go into a provisional license, right? Now the provisional license system works. The fact that you have a learner's permit to start with, which allows you to get in the car with somebody or to get on a bike up to 100cc for practice. I'm not quite sure what those levels are. And you can get your skills set, right? That lasts for 12 months. You can then do your physical tests and so on and so forth. That gets you a provisional license, which is, proviso, which means the fact that you have to drive within the law, and you have to hold that for 3 years, no questions asked, right? Basically, in Australia, we have a point system. The point system works this way: you get 12 points on your license every time you break a law in a driving law in Australia. There is so many points removed from that license, and those points are replenished every at the 3 year mark. So if you're year one, you fail to indicate changing lanes, you lose 2 points or something like that, right? Those 2 points are then credited back to your license within 3 years of the date of that fine being processed. And you've always got to have at least 1 point on your license. If you go to 0 points, then you will automatically be disqualified from driving. With a provisional license, you get, I think, 3 points on your license, or it could be in 1 point, right? And you have to drive basically for 3 years without a single fine, right? The system seems to work pretty well. Nobody likes it, but it works. Why don't they bring something like that in, right? You want to get a license, fine, go into provisional. This is how we start. Within 3 years, things will change. But the best point thing here, that this is my rant on the whole issue, how about we get the police to actually do a policing job on the existing road rules? It would make a big difference. Like, I still see it every day. I'm out there in the car or on the bike, and you get a police officer on a motorcycle ahead of you in the lane, watches 10 guys ride through an intersection without helmets. Does nothing, right? Then they set up these pseudo roadblocks. Within 5 minutes, through the social media circuit, there's a roadblock, there's a road checkpoint, they tell all their friends, and people are just bypassing those roadblocks, right? It happens everywhere you go. It's just ridiculous. These sort of systems don't work. What you've got to do is you've actually got to get the police to first understand what the road rules are. So the police need to go to school to learn what the rules are. Then they need to be told these rules need to be enforced, which means that when you see somebody breaching one of those rules, you need to stop them and issue a fine. Simple. It just doesn't happen. It's just crazy. Now they're trying to get cameras to do it in the centre of Bangkok. Well, you can't put cameras all over Thailand. Yes, you can do it in the centre of Bangkok. And again, collection of fines. I think there were 12 million fines were issued last year, of which 2 million got paid. There's still 10 million outstanding fines that just people don't pay. They don't even pay their fines, and nobody runs around to their house to go on, well, sorry, you haven't paid your fine. They're still talking about the fact that, well, you won't be able to renew your license. Well, that's not going to stop them. That people just transfer the registration of the car to the next person in their family. That's what they do, and then they continue on. It is absolutely, it is farcical. That's how you fix the problem, right? You don't bring in new rules, because guess what? These rules will only become like I got 3 years before I got to go back to the license bureau to get a renewal. So I got 3 more years on my licence, right, before I have to do anything. How does that fix the road? My system would work better. All new licences. Because quite frankly, the people who are dying are the young kids, right? And it's young, affluent, this is why it's being pushed. Young, affluent, young kids from affluent families. The kid, he's 16 years old. Mum, I want a motorcycle. I want that Ducati, whatever, Davio. I want the Ducati Davio. My friend's got a Ducati. I want a Ducati Davio because it's faster than his, right? And I want the faster motorcycle. And then Mum says, well, $1 million, yeah, okay, I'll go and buy it for you, right?
Kawasaki 250.
Well, we can talk about that later. But yeah, so they gets the car, they gets the Ducati Davio, right, and instantly rides into the back of a freaking Mercedes. Mercedes driver then has to deal with the fact that there's an unlicensed, probably uninsured, right, dent in the back of his Mercedes, right. The kid is dead. Goes to the family, right? They're in debt to their eyeballs for a freaking, for a finance on the Davio, right? And then there's just, I'm sorry, we can't pay. And the Mercedes driver then goes to his insurance company and says, well, what do we do? The insurance company, do insurance prices go up because the insurance company has to fork out for the Mercedes, right? And they've got no chance of getting the money out of the, oh, really? How about just... It's just crazy shit. But yeah, as I said, the rules will come into effect 120 days after it's been approved by government. Exactly when this approval goes through, I don't know. Last month, the cabinet approved, the same-sex marriage. Still no word when that's going to hit the actual government to be approved. And then, of course, it takes, this is the thing, it always takes 120 days after that before it becomes ratified and gets put in the whatever their rule book is. But yeah, it's just the problem with driving here in Thailand is the fact that the rules that we have here just don't simply get enforced. And it's like everything. I feel like I keep on bringing that. 3 years ago, they kicked all the street vendors off Sukhumvit. Guess what? They're all back now. Well, not all of them, but most of them are back. 2 years ago, I said, we had the issue 2 years ago with, and not so much the TM30. What was it before the TM30? It was other, get the idea. All these sort of things. TM30 is still there, but it doesn't get talked about anymore. It's a storm in a teacup. Nothing gets enforced.
Well, that's because the foreigners aren't allowed in the country anyway. So.
Well, that's another thing as well. Where, we have it in Australia, right? Basically, politicians justifying their menial existence in Parliament by dreaming up bizarre new rules.
Oh yeah.
99% of the rules could be simply replaced with one rule: don't be a dick.
Yeah.
But it's just I'd like to just, can I get off at the nearest intergalactic junction and find another planet to live on, because this one here is completely
Mars.
Well,
stick out your electronic thumb.
Yeah, where's that electronic sub-ether device?
Don't forget your towel.
I want to jump on a boat.
You don't go anywhere without a towel. What are you talking about?
I want to jump on a boat on constructive
towel.
Exactly.
Of course, with my luck, I'd end up on a Vogon ship and have to listen to poetry.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, if you don't know the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has this to say on the side of the towel. The towel, it says, is one of the most massively useful things any interstellar hitchhiker can carry. For one, it has great practical value. You can wrap it around yourself for warmth on the cold moons of Jagal and Beta. You can sunbathe on it on the marbled beaches of Santraginus 5. You can huddle beneath it for protection against the Uturan meganats as you sleep beneath the stars of Catrafum. You can erect a little crossbeam and use it to sail a small mini raft down the slow, heavy river Moth. You can wet it for use in hand-to-hand combat. You can wrap it around your face to avoid the gaze of the ravenous, blood-battered beast of Traal, which is such a mind-bogglingly stupid animal. It assumes that if you can't see it, it can't see you. And even dry yourself off with it if it still seems clean enough. There you go, that's my little recitation for you. God, I know some useless shit, I really do. And that's, of course, obviously spending many sleepless nights smoking copious amounts of cannabis, listening to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy radio series back in the early 80s. Oh my God, tell you what. What is it? You said the medical council will be allowed to determine which health problems with bar matters. Yeah, I don't know. So that's still going to be ratified. It's just one other thing. Motors of powerful motorcycles, 400 cc's or more, would need to pass a special training. Okay, those riches have to go and steer on. I don't know how they really sort of can. What can they train somebody over 400 cc's on? Can you touch the ground for one? Because like I've seen some of these people, they can't even. They're kids, right? They can't even touch the ground on the motorcycle. It's ludicrous. That would be a good test.
If you keep going fast enough, you don't need to.
Well, you do, but again, you still have to stop somewhere. But it is. It's. Yes. What else is there? Okay. Happy birthday, Andy. Was it Andy's? That's right. It was his Andy. It was Andy's birthday a couple of days ago. Yes, I do remember dropping something on his wall. Any marks that can haul at my fat ass is a powerful motorcycle. I know what you mean there, Mitch. I'm not to pick on your fat ass issue, but somehow I think that if Oggy was on a 125 step screw, he might be better off pushing the motorcycle. Sorry, Oggy.
That's okay.
It's okay. He'll get back. He'll make sure he doesn't defend me in Guild Wars.
Yes. Next time.
Next time. That's it.
I say.
How do you stop a politician from drowning? Take your foot off his head. Yeah, Darlow can totally get on with that one. Sounds super logical, Brian, but there are not many dealing with logical. Yeah, like I know. William Paul, good morning, William. Yes, I think logic is just somehow lost on our current population globally. The people who think logically are a dying breed. And was it breaking news from Melbourne? Changing to Finesville? Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I came from an excellent oh my God. People would William, you're in Thailand. People have no road sense here. I think some drivers have a death wish, both motorcycles and cars. I think with Thailand, it just seems like the fact that there is this seems to be this unwritten rule. If I'm in front of you, I have the right of way. That's it. They could be coming head on, right, on the wrong side of the road, but because they're in front of you, a Thai still thinks he has the right of way. It's quite honestly, we have traffic problems. Again, I've never sort of seen a ticket on a motor vehicle in a clearway. PopeKael Road has a clearway. We have clearways in Australia, right? You get stuck in a clearway, you get towed away. Make a nice little side business, but where would they put all the cars? That would be the first question. There's no place that they can put the cars, but yeah, towaway zones, clearways. That's where the problem is. Like you're driving down PopeKael Road, and people just, that's it. I'm stopping to get my dinner. Right in the middle of peak hour, right, in a 4-lane road, right, and 4 lanes trying to merge into 3 lanes, which sounds easy, but thing is, it's not so much the 4 going to 3, is that 3rd lane then thinks, oh, my lane's now going slower, so I now have to merge into lane 2, and then of course lane 2 said, well, you just cut me off, I'm going to have to move into lane 1, right, and lane 1 then of course they've got a U-turn up ahead, so they want to move into, and get the idea, it just becomes a complete schmozzle, because one arsehole decides that he wants to stop off and get his noodles before he goes home. And nobody does anything about it. Absolutely nothing done about it. How about the police simply issue fines, and then the fines have to be collected? I think if they sat down and sent people to their houses, say, pay the fine, or we take your vehicle away until you do, well, you're going to need a freaking damn big car lot, because there's going to be a lot of cars, because most people don't have the money to pay the fines. Well, how about you just exercise some bloody common sense on the road? It would be a good start. Anyway, enough of my little ranting on Thai driving. It's just one of those things. You just got to. It happens everywhere in the world. I just think that the biggest problem here is they just don't enforce the rules. The police here, God bless them, we need them, but they just. I think it just comes down to the fact that they get their report sheet. Today we're looking at motorcycle helmet riders. That's their lookout. So yeah, that day, then motorcycles without helmets, then that's what they do. Every other law can be broken that day, but it's not on their sheet, so they can't tick the box. Because again, I'm pretty sure that the establishment here is bound around this sort of thing, that if it's not on, if I'm not asked to do it, I don't have to do it. This whole checkbox mentality. Nobody's allowed to think for themselves. But then again, you get the other side of the situation, don't you? Like the Australian police, I think they're given too much ability to think for themselves, and they're thinking too far outside the box, making up shit that they go, oh God, tell me about it. Such is life.
You mean they'll arrest you for something that they think should be illegal?
Yeah, and then they'll make it up. Then they'll make it up as they go along, and then find some obscurity that they finally.
They'll figure something out that will stick.
Yeah, not resisting arrest for something that you didn't do. That'll stick because you're resisting arrest. But we made up some fanciful story that might have been a rule, but then. Sorry, that's it. It wasn't a rule, but you resisted arrest anyway, so there you go. That's one that we can stick you for. And it happens. Believe me, it happens in Australia. It is bizarre. And who knows what the rules are? There's so many damn rules now, right? It's become Rulesville. I remember there was an episode in what was that science fiction series? Not Babylon 5. Anyway, it was another one of those sort of TV, where one planet they went to, there was no viable business on the planet except for being a lawyer. Right?
Oh, jeez.
That's it. All other businesses became obsolete because, supply and demand. A lawyer to defend you against a lawyer, defending you, get the idea. I think Crichton, that was his name. What was it?
Oh, that would be Red Dwarf.
No, it wasn't Red Dwarf. It was the other one.
Well, Crichton is Red Dwarf.
Yeah, there's a Crichton and Red Dwarf. There was a Crichton also in. He had the big alien warrior and had the freaking little Muppet fucking space pilot driver.
Oh, you're talking Farscape.
Farscape, that was it. Yeah, Farscape. Yeah, God, this name totally escaped me. Yeah, that was one of the episodes of Farscape. It was really quite funny, And what they had to prove, that their law was based on a fallacy of the divine light or something, and so they faked something to make a stick catch fire in the grand scheme of things, and then basically shot all their laws to pieces or something like that. But yeah, it was the whole planet was run by lawyers. That's it. You couldn't breathe without getting a certificate for breathing or something like that. It's quite bizarre. And I think they got caught because they stepped off the footpath onto the road, and you know, or something. Quite bizarre. But yeah, it was just one of those sort of things. So Warren Thea, what rules prevent motorcycle accidents occurring when passing one vehicle, towing another? Yes, I remember that one. That was a couple of weeks ago. So, you know, they had a tow truck with it would have been an 80-foot long tow rope towing a bus across an intersection. And, you know, there was a riding crew going through, and 3 motorcycles, before they realised what was going on, they hit that tow rope and killed motorcyclists. Now, I don't know what was the eventual outcome of that, but that, oh my God, seriously. How can you defend again? How are you going to have a road rule against that? Well, again, that tow rope was too long, for one. Secondly, it was not, it didn't have any sort of, you know, safety warning process, like even sort of yellow flags or tapes taped to it to make it a little bit sort of, it was just like, you know, it was just a piece of, you know, 5-gauge wire or whatever. It was, if any higher than, you know, I think there was only sort of wheel height, but those motorcycles hit at a fair speed, right? Imagine if it was, you know, again, killed the first 3, but if it was head height, it would have decapitated everybody. Oh, it's scary shit. But yeah, sort of, it's just get bizarre shit happening like this, you know, and that's just a lack of intelligence. Luke, thanks very much for that, Luke. Your donations are always greatly appreciated, never required, but it always it tells me that we're doing something right. It's a good feedback, Luke. And he's probably had too much coffee too. Is that right, Luke?
It's the coffee that's making him do it?
I'm pretty sure it's the coffee. God, that took a while for it to pop up then. God.
Yes, it did.
But anyway, got the jingle. I need to get another little, I probably need to get a different thing, like, you know, the cash register tune for that one. Ching ching. I have to look into that. Yeah, common sense is not all that common. Tell me about it. Yes. Does Thailand have traffic police section that focus on roads? Bosana, good morning, Bosana. Oh, good afternoon, Bosana. Well, they said I think the police unit is quite diverse in all its requirements and responsibilities. Like you've got tourist police, we've got traffic police, we've got all sorts of divisions. I think you mentioned this last week. Even immigration is a subsection of the police bureau, right? So it is part of the policing system. It does present obviously a few issues. We'll get to the house shortly, Dial down low. I'll try to sort of we'll talk about them later. Yeah. So when it comes to, you know, sort of policing, we don't really see many police cars on the road. I see there's some BMWs that drive around. These are what they call the BMWs doing visa checks, because they got all the computer equipment in the car and cameras on the car, and they drive around these fancy BMWs. All they're doing is visiting places of residence to confirm that, you know, your 90-day report matches up with where you're living, because quite frankly there's so many agents that falsify that information. It's ridiculous, right? I don't know if the agents ever get pulled over for it, but that's what that's all about. Whether they do any other policing, I've got no idea whether they do any other policing. Typically what we see on the roads is we see motorcycle cops. Not like chippies, you know, in California, but they're on 300cc Honda PCXs now, I think they are. And more than likely you'll actually see a police officer with a police pigeon passenger on the motorcycle running up and down the road. I don't know what they're doing. I never see them actually I never see a siren on. I see them go past obvious breaches in traffic laws, totally oblivious to the traffic laws. So what they're doing on the road is completely beyond my sensibilities of, logic. We used to see the other police cars, well, they're actually police trucks. They're more like a utility. They've got a flatbed. They're the crew cabs. So you can put 4 police in them. I see them driving around. I never see the siren go on for anything. You see them on the roads, but they don't seem to do anything. There's you see them go past obvious infringements, and I never see them pull anybody over. I have yet to see a police officer pull anybody over on the road. You only have to be in Australia for a week, driving, to and from work, and within a week you will see a police siren, police officer, and then 2 minutes later you'll see that vehicle on the side of the road pulled over with some sort of breach going on. It's just so commonplace in Australia. I have been here for 4 years, and I've been on all sorts of transport, and I have yet to see...
Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now? Temperature right now? Ooh, probably think we're going for a third...
Sorry, my mic's on.
Your mic's on, yeah, there you go. Temperature today.
Right now it's only 97 Fahrenheit.
Hello, Google.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. What's the temperature in Bangkok today?
Alexa,
Bangkok today.
what's the temperature?
33 and a low of 26.
There you go, 32 and 26. There you go.
Alexa, what's the temperature?
She's ignoring you. What'd you do, piss her off? You told her to shut up, didn't you?
Yeah, you told her to shut up. That's what it was.
I told her to shut up one time, and it took me half a day to figure out how to turn the voice back on.
Really? Is that how it works?
She would not talk to me. I had to go find the settings to reactivate her audio.
Yeah, we've had plenty of rain here recently. Well, when I say plenty of rain, it is the wet season, so it's all expected. We were at Susie's last night after our coffee meet-up, coffee and lunch and afternoon meet-up. We just, me and Jerry decided to go and say hello to Susie, have a couple of drinks, and we were just saying, feeling very, very muggy, getting, it was going to rain, and yes, within an hour it started raining, but it only rained for like half an hour. But we get that pretty much this time of the year. We get that all the time. 2 days out of every 3, you'll get a rain squall around about dinner time. But that's what
we're supposed to be having our rain.
Mm.
This is our monsoon season, and we've had what have we had year to date? It's pitiful.
Mm. Yeah. Anyway, so Dal, I did ask, how's the house hunting going? Well, how's the house going? I did have an image there. Let me just see if I can bring that up on the screen. Where's my photos? Where is it? I thought she sent it to me. Oh, that's right. She sent it to me online. I just haven't saved it yet. Where's my Line account?
Year to date, we've had like between 3 and 5 inches, depending on where you are.
So we get back to my Line account. I get her to send the pictures online because she sends them full resolution. This is taken with her camera. Just make that a bit bigger. So yes, the situation with the house was they started doing the base walls. That started last week. And we went back on Wednesday, and what we did tell them the fact that we wanted one modification to be done, which was that little alcove above. It's a bit hard to see. Up in here, there's an alcove between the front master bedroom and the second bedroom in the front. There's an alcove at the top of the stairs. I don't think I actually have the exact sizings. Do I have the exact sizing here? I know there's something. My desk is full of shit. Yeah, so it's a bit hard to see. Yeah, so that's downstairs, and this is the upstairs. Is that upstairs or downstairs? Oh yeah, yeah. So obviously to go bigger again and see if we can. It's probably not easy. Right. So on the plans, I just hold that a bit squarer so we get a bit of a focus. God, everything is back reversed. So the master bedroom design normally has a little alcove that goes to the side. So the standard build has a wall here, and that is open at the top of the stairs. So what we want to do is we want to turn this little room here into a little computer den, and it's basically 2.5 meters deep by about 2.5 by 2.5, so it's about 8 foot by 8 foot square, which is perfect size for what I want to do for a studio. And so yeah, we had that modification done, just putting that wall in, plus the door, plus 3 power points, 2 on one wall and 1 on the reverse wall. That's for the lights behind, and other bits and pieces.
He's going to have his little cubby. He's going to be the house elf.
That's it. Well, how much was that extra going to cost us? 15,000 baht. You know, can't complain.
Move a wall.
Well, no, to put a wall in and a door. Not the wall was on the master bedroom. That was the alcove. So putting that actually dividing wall in.
Yeah, you're putting an extra 8 feet of wall in and putting a door in it.
Door in and the 3 power points was going to cost 15,000 baht. So pretty good. Anyway, so it's on the plans. You know, we're still waiting for the bank approval and everything else, the bank to guarantee it. But yeah, so that's where we are now. But as I said, they've started putting up, putting up the walls. You know, they'll start probably. We will probably drop in every week now, or every couple of weeks, and just take little photos of stages, like Robert was doing. You know, where Meg Rose was doing that for his house build. Well, as we progress, we'll do something similar as well. We'll keep you posted. Little snippets of how things are going, especially when. Let's hope we get the approval in the next 30 days, so it actually makes it, more solid that we are going to move here, rather than, it's all on the books we want to move here, but the bank hasn't said okay. You know how it works. It's just one of those sort of things. We have to deal with it. But yeah, so that was another picture. Yes, that's they're our neighbours. So they're obviously ours is a little bit delayed because of the delay from the handover, which there was that 2-week delay handover basically, process from the people bailing out on that one. So that's why ours is a little bit behind the rest of the schedule, but I'm pretty sure that'll catch up. How these estates work. So it's not one house they're building, they build a row of houses, and they all get built at the same time because it's efficiency. That's how it works over here. But yeah, so where are we going to next? What else have I missed? Sometimes there will be 1 or 2 a.m. the afternoon here going less than Blade Runner City. Helicopters over Melbourne at the night because the curfew. Really? Police state. Talk about the police state. Well, as I said, when's the next election? All you got to do is just people have got to elect better freaking people to rule them. Or come on.
Vote those feckers out, right?
Yeah, but unfortunately, both sides of politics have, you got centre left and centre right. And there's really nowhere in Australian politics to move. And this is probably one of the downfalls of democracy, is as any population moves closer to what they call a pure democracy, there is nowhere to move because it's all comes down to a minor swing vote. So they have to move, it has to get closer and closer from centre to centre left and centre right to ultimately the fact that there is a central point where it only becomes a matter of the fact that security comes at the cost of freedom, and it's how much freedom you're willing to impart, and how much of a swing vote of maybe 1 or 2% can guarantee you a seat in Parliament. And so basically government has become useless. It really has.
What I miss, Luke.
Yeah. Not to say this, but I said the centre, it's still that's another downfall of democracy, is the fact that, in Australia, 75% of the people voting have got no idea about politics to start with. They just vote because their dad did, and they're made to because they get a fine if they don't. America, it's apathy because, I don't feel that I can make a difference in my single vote, so I can't be bothered going to the polling station. Two sides of the same argument, People need to be educated on the ways of how the systems work, because really nobody knows how politics works. It's just all a freaking money funnel, just. But I did have one. I got one image. That'll be out in next week's. Where is it? There we go. It's open original. There we go. Of course, I'm pretty sure George Carlin didn't sort of say it, but the upper class keeps all of your money, pays none of the taxes. The middle class pays all the taxes and does all the work. The poor are there just to scare the shit out of the middle class.
Yes, indeed.
That'll be up next week on the page. No, I don't want to go take any political angle on the page. I want to try to keep it funny, but that's just funny shit. It really is.
Yeah, just make sure as long as there's politics involved, the easy part is keep a towel handy.
Keep a towel handy, yes. I got my towel there. It's just like it's always see my towel. I don't
towel
leave it
and a bucket of water. Just get ready to waterboard the person that shows up.
Right. Here's another one I thought. This is obviously a bit more close because I'm a bit of a train buff. Like if I go to my YouTube page,
that looks like a monorail in Seattle right there. That's the kind of monorail they have in Seattle.
I don't really do my YouTube that much just to show you what I look at, but if I go home, what sort of shit does fucking YouTube tell me? There's train videos, more train videos, and like I'm into live stream, right? Live stream. I had a live stream 5-inch gauge road, not like that one. It was a schools class. That's the sort of thing I did. That was a hobby I had in Australia. Very antisocial hobbies, just a very, very small section of the population get off on that shit. But I'm a bit of a train buff, yeah. So, when it comes to stories about trains, the first thing I thought about was, we had a monorail in Sydney. It proved to be economically unviable in a population of city with 2 million people. And so, 7 or 8 years after they pulled out our monorail, which I thought was quite an advancement, and I thought it was a great piece of engineering and what they did. Got it off the street and sort of cleared a bit of the traffic. I suppose the downfall, they only had it in one direction. It was only a 7-station loop. So if you wanted to go one direction counterclockwise to the rail movement, you had to get on and go 6 stations. That's probably why it really didn't take off. They really need to do a dual loop. But they did talk about expanding it, and then they did feasibility studies and then realised it was just totally uneconomical to do it. Yet here in Thailand,
they had the same thing in Seattle. It was originally built for the World's Fair in 1963, and it was a dual track, and it went I think a total of 2 miles from the fair to a big shopping mall. And it's still there, and people still ride it every day. And they were talking about expanding it, but instead they went to a combination of elevated and ground level light rail system, and it's awesome.
I'm trying to think of this thing here. This one here. This one here. The Schwennenbahn.
Hangs underneath.
It's 100 years old, and in this situation, it is still proven to be economically viable in over 100 years. Why? Because of where it's built. Like it's built in a valley, and they couldn't put trams. So it was just uneconomical to put tramways everywhere. And this thing here basically elevated over the main river that goes through the valley, and it still has proven to be economically viable today. The hanging trains of I can't even say that name, but yeah, sort of, it's like a monorail effectively. Some places are, but I can't see this. Honestly, can't see it working. I don't. That article doesn't actually have the route. I've been.
Well, I mean, it's just another type of rail system. I mean, if a regular rail system, but typically you can get more cars or larger system on a rail as opposed to a monorail.
Yeah, so or the streets of Pattaya are already minimal width, dual lane. People want to park there, so they basically effectively go to single lane everywhere you go in the streets of Pattaya, apart from I think three main streets which are dual lane each way. But again, you can't move. Yet they're going to be closing that shit off to then build the monorail. Honestly, like I said, this is just when they 23 to 27. Okay, so yeah, midterm 28 to 32. Yeah, so we're talking about 15 years to build it. That's going to be another white elephant. It's just never going to be a practical solution.
Yeah, it'll be obsolete by that time.
Well, that's it.
Well, I don't know. Trains are still around. They've been around how long?
Well, it was vying against what they call a light rail system. Quite honestly, the only thing Pattaya can do is they need to bulldoze and restart, right? Which is never going to happen because they can't acquire all the land. Pattaya is just a complete disaster when it comes to transportation. Anyway, well, as I said, they've got a light rail system coming in, so there you go. Mr. Mitch, here's a hanging rail, something like a basket section with more than 2 people, probably. Yeah, so Andy Stubbs, the monorails in Tokyo, but Tokyo have just got a different set of people thinking for them. They've actually got engineers designing shit that get passed, right? And they're a world leader in some of the engineering they've done over there. And of course, when it comes to this, did they go to Tokyo? Did they ask the experts? Did they ask the experts who have got workable, viable systems? Did they come and ask them to come and consult? No. Typically, it's a Thaiway or the highway. I think we talked about that the other way. Like I said, we've had the Opal card working very well across Sydney and Melbourne. I think now it's been expanded to Brisbane as well, right? Okay, it took like 6 years to become something, right? But it's a single card for public transport. Now, it's beyond the scope of imagination here in Bangkok. Yet it's totally a viable system. It works very well. The technology's already been invented. And guess what? Thailand had to go a different way. No, okay, fine, not a problem. Do it your own way. I've got a limited tenure on this planet, I'm not too worried. 20 years from now, I won't have to fucking worry about it. I will be dead. 30, well, whatever, 20, 30 years. You never know, do you? You never really know. But yes, I just look at some of the farcical things. They've got a lovely sort of rail system here in the planned. I don't know, have you ever sort of seen the actual proposed maps? If I go to Google Maps, go to my page, and I go to my places, and go to maps. There's the Bangkok transport system. This is a bit of a. Oh, okay. So I mean, I've got to keep it up there. I've got to keep that. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Can drill down on all the proposed. It looks great. This is like the 20-year plan from where we are now, for what's going to be. Stephen Monash, good morning. How you doing, buddy? Are you going to come and join us? We are here. Yeah, this is a proposed rail system.
He said his father had a fall at 2:30 this morning.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that. Oh, sorry to hear that. Yeah, so this is the proposed rail systems that they've dotted to ease the congestion here in Bangkok. It's going to take another 10 years to complete that. Right, that's 10 years of more traffic jams. Yes, look, I think it's a great idea. It's 30 years late, right? But there's 5 different companies running all these systems. 5 separate, different private companies running these systems.
Yeah.
It's ludicrous. So if I want to get from here, from PopeKael to Rang Sit, which is up here somewhere, I've got this red line, right? So that's one line I have to pay for, which that their card doesn't match this card, which is the BTS or does this one match up with? No. Or maybe I can go to here, I can change there, I can go around to here, and maybe they're all about change over here, so it's a 2-line system. Really, I just can't. I think it's a great idea, but it just lacks some serious planning. And it required an overarching overruling body to say, I'm sorry, you might be upper class, Thai, but seriously, we want your land. It happens in Australia all the time. It doesn't matter how much money. If they want that land, they'll just acquire it. It's part of the charter, I think, the way it works. They can acquire the land. It's part of a governmental thing, I'm pretty sure. Because I've heard
I thought in Thailand that the Thai government technically still owns the land.
But it's unfortunate the Thai government's run by the upper class. If it's going to go through their backyard, they're not going to have it. That's it. Sorry. This is street view. No, this is street view. Let me see if I can find it. There's a classic street view that you've got to just check this out. Where is it? I think it's Soi 2. Soi 2? Yeah, here. So here
Struck
we
that
are.
guy and dropped him off.
So am I going in the right direction? Right, so you're going down this in a 3-lane road, and this guy didn't want to sell. Sorry, that's my land. I'm not selling. So they just divert the whole road around it.
He probably thought he was going to hold him up for more money, and they just said, screw you.
Well, that's really what it come down to. I want more money to give you my front yard, so I want more money. And the government said, well, we're not paying you more money, so we'll just divert the road around it. When you drive, it doesn't look the same, but when you're driving down here, it just looks bizarre. You drive.
Oh yeah.
The road goes for miles. It is straight and straight for miles, and it just comes and does this little dog leg around this guy's house. It is funny shit. It just cracks me up. I don't know. Some of the joys of living here in Thailand, just the crazy shit that you see.
Sometimes it's good to have a minister as a brother-in-law, right?
Yeah. Wouldn't happen in Australia. That's it. They would, the government would just turn around and just acquire the land, and they'd fight it in court. They would lose, and sorry, you're duly compensated with what the government proposed to give you, and of course the lawyers that you've just paid for, you've lost, so you have to pay your lawyers' fees, and ultimately you lose. For some reason, that doesn't happen in Thailand. Compulsory purchase, same most places, yeah. And for some reason, either his uncle is the prime minister or something like that, or he's, you know, I don't know, his uncle's the freaking, you know, the boss of CP, whatever. I don't know what it was, but you get the idea. This is what happens here in Thailand. Money talks, and they'll just divert a road around you. That's it, you know. That's right, William. If you didn't laugh, you'd cry. Some of the bullshit that goes on. One thing you need if you come to live here in Thailand, you need a sense of humour.
I don't know if I can afford to bring that with me. I don't know if I have enough space to pack it.
Well, maybe you need to do a few trips and bring a little bit of sense of humour every time you come.
I think
So
now,
the first
live,
time I'll bring a sense of wonder, and then the
of
second time I'll bring a sense of humor.
Yes, but this is the charming part about Thailand. You don't question it. It's just that we have this thing, TIT. This is Thailand. Nothing makes sense. Mr. Mitch, a light rail system from downtown Seattle across the I-90 floating bridge to the east side, 14 miles long, in 2008. Project cost $3.7 billion to construct.
Have they gotten across the bridge yet, Mitch?
Okay, so they're saying this one here is, I think they gave us I saw it the length. It was, how many kilometres was it altogether? I think it was 13 kilometres of light rail. This was the initial investment project, 4.7 billion. Don't think it's Thai money. I think is that the price? 39 billion baht. What's that working out?
So that's only 1 billion. Well, 1.3 billion.
Let me just do a quick conversion. I like to convert for people who haven't got a calculator.
US.
No, I'll do Australian.
40 billion.
So sorry. So 39,000,000 39 billion baht, billion, so billion. That's 39 million. That's 1.72 billion Aussie dollars. Yeah, well, that's actually quite cheap compared to the fact that, you know, we paid 41 billion for an NBN, which never worked. Don't know if it's cheap at half the price. But yeah, it's just the way it goes, isn't it? It's just, that's all right. It's just one of these. This is just a random chat. You're just tuning in. This is just a random chat. We don't want to pick on anybody. We're just going to laugh at some of the stuff that goes on here. Really, it's just life is just one joke after another, and all you can do is just make joke posts about it, can't you? That's it.
Well, life is just one big joke. Sometimes you're the punchline. Sometimes you're the punched.
Yeah. There you go. So, do you ever just feel like a rotisserie chicken? Yeah, my son. Yeah. Okay. Coffee or tea? I like coffee. No, wrong. Tea. All my funny shit. I like that one. I think
And a Diet Coke, please.
You like that one, didn't you? That burger, or whatever it was. And a Diet Coke, please.
That was my dinner tonight. I had a nice buttery jack with bacon and Swiss cheese and a large fry, and then a Diet Coke.
Me walking back into McDonald's after that, forgot my napkins that I planned to use as toilet paper. He was a good martial arts fighter in the movies. Yeah. Bruce Lee. No wonder he's always getting into fights. A bottle of Hennessy. After years of hard work and dedication, I was finally able to afford this cup of coffee. Yeah. Okay. Oh my God. Eye contact. This guy is fighting a battle that no man has yet to win. I'll leave you on that one. I think I'll leave that there. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one there for that. I'm just going to leave that one on the screen for to catch the screenshot bit for when we. 2 lines across the Mercer Island, but they are way long for connecting. Okay.
That's just me.
Yeah, that's just the problem. Like, is it just
So they've made it out to Poverty Rock, but they'll probably never get any farther.
what gets me is the fact that like we can also say in hindsight that a lot of just 95% of the projects are started 10 or 15 years too late. Is there no way to get the oligarchies that run the world to look further than their 3-year tenure in government for a lifelong pension? Or is that just the way we have to deal with the world now? Because quite frankly, right, we should have been making inroads to so many things these days, but they all require funding, and that requires collecting taxes or some other revenue source gaining process, and nothing that ever needs to get done doesn't get done until it's the bloody 11th hour or 2 minutes to midnight.
Well, Seattle gets railroaded all the time on their projects. They, they built 2 new stadiums that the people voted down, but they went ahead and built them anyways. This happens a lot in Seattle, where projects it's like, no, we're going to build it anyway. Screw you guys.
Well, from what I understand,
I think the pandemic is a perfect example of that, because in the United States, they're trying to do business as usual, and it's failing badly.
Yeah, well,
we've got all the the bars and the gyms and everybody, and they're like, hey, the restaurants are open, why can't we open?
But the politics are remaining the same.
Yeah,
that's it, because they only know one set of politics. And quite honestly, when I do get into these discussions at drinking sessions and everything else, the first thing I'd always propose is, what is an alternative? Unfortunately, we are now so, I suppose, uneducated in philosophy, uneducated in things that could possibly drive the population in a different vector. They are now such obscure theologies that nobody wants to study them anymore. They'll go and get a Bachelor of Arts, and then they're painting fucking street signs for the next fucking 10 years of their life. And they serve actually, there's a meme that runs around that I've sort of seen, this guy is, get a degree, and so he's got his degree in arts or something, and and then the guy what do you call it, the guy that did a trade certificate, right, he cut his power off, do people do trade certificates anymore? I don't know. Is that something people do?
Well, they have a serious issue here in the U.S. Is not enough people are going in the trades. You can make more money as a tradesman as you will as being a master's graduate from college. Because most master's graduates in college, they're going to get an entry level job making, $17, $18 an hour, and a tradesman, just not even a journeyman, will make on a government project will make $35, $40 an hour. Because it's mandated by the government.
Without the student debt.
Yeah.
Right. Because usually the union will put you through the school because they're going to be collecting those union dues.
Well, in Australia,
that's part of what you're paying for with your union dues.
Yeah, we have we don't have unions, but there is union shops in Australia, but we have what they call the apprenticeship scheme. That's what I did for the first 4 years while I was working in sales. Then I did an apprenticeship because my mother insisted, you need a trade behind you. You quit school, so you need a trade behind you. Okay, I quit school. Well, I got a job. I'm working sales. I enjoy sales. There's no career path for, me. Mother sort of said, get a trade. So I got a trade. I never used it. But I got a trade behind me. But as I said, we had the apprenticeship system. That was, you work for them for 4 days a week. 1 day of the week you go to trade school. You do that for the first 3 years. That's paid for by your employer, right? And he pays you less, I think for the first 2 years you actually make less than minimum wage, whatever that is now. I may be changed, I really don't know. But that was sort of 78 through to 82. An 18-year-old trying to make do with my first year apprentice wages was $66 a week, right? I had a V8 and it cost $20 just to put fuel in the car.
That left you a whole $46 to live the rest of the week.
Yeah, thankfully that parents only charged me $10 board, which was which is a bit of a godsend for that. But still, it didn't leave much, And I had my mate Rick, my best mate Rick. He was working in the morgue, right, preparing bodies in the morgue. He said it was a bit of a benign, bit of a bizarre job, but he was making an absolute fortune. I'm making $66 a week, and Ricky's making $400 a week in comparison in working in the morgue. I got really pissed off about that. But that's such as life. What sort of jobs? I said it's a job that's you're never going to be out of a job. People always die. But
right.
Maybe, so.
Yep. They're lining up all the time to do it. It's kind of like Soylent Green.
And of course, here's the obviously the punchline. He worked in a morgue for probably 6 years. He realised it was a dead end job.
No place to go.
So where did he go into? Have a guess. One guess where he went from there into another vocation. Where do you think he went to?
Government?
Not quite.
The clergy.
Not quite. And almost as bad, probably worse. We quite often think they'd make good drift anchors.
Lawyer.
Yes. He went into law.
Became a lawyer.
So he went from being working in a morgue, he went to working in law. Talk about a move sideways and down, but
yeah. Well, when you're working in the morgue, there's only one way to go, and that's down.
Yeah, but as he now works in what the probate trusts. That's his particular forte, and he tells me about the Fruit Loops. He has trust accounts that he manages. Oh my God, I don't know whether it just
Warren, Warren, I just want you to know I love your channel, man. I love the live conversation, but if you don't change the slide, it's very distracting.
It's very distracting, is it? Okay, let's go to the next one down there.
I like this one.
Yeah. Common screens for kids when they go back to school. Some kids are going to think they're visiting Dad. I'm sorry.
Yep.
That one cracked me up, I guess.
Yes, Mr. Mitch.
But yeah, so, this is the thing. You move from, but I said he made more money, and now he's doing trust. So he tells me about these crazy people he has trust accounts for. Seriously, these people have a lot of money, and it's left in trust to them, right? And he manages the trust accounts. And these people, seriously, they're tinfoil hats. They are tinfoil hat wearers, all of them. They are completely off this planet.
Nutters, eh?
They are complete and utter freaking loonies. I know he tells me about one that thinks that the CIA are after him. He lives in Australia and he thinks the CIA are after him, right? And another one there is, thinks that his kid, she thinks her kids have got hit contracts out on her. It might be possible, but they're not in the will. But they're all complete. There's this money create this. I guess when you look at some of the bullshit that's coming out of America now with the whole pedophile ring of the upper echelon society, maybe money does make you a pariah, and but yeah, who knows? This is one of those weirdnesses of the world, isn't it? That's it. Sheep mailways.
Jeff friggin' Looney Tunes.
Yeah, that's it. They're all Looney Tunes. Yeah, so Andy Stubbs, you're a qualified fitter and turner. Yeah, I only did it for 5 years, wasted time. Well, although I did fitter and turner, I learnt, computer code, because when I did my trade back then, there was only 2 shops in Sydney that did computerised engineering. That was Gilbert Lodge, who had all the government contracts, and it just seemed like it was a dead-end job as well. And a small boutique guy, an organisation called Wessex Engineering, and when I did a little bit of research on the owner of Wessex Engineering, his name was Gil Hoskins, and he was previously, or the Hoskins family, before it was called BHP Steel or Lithgow Steel, it was Hoskins Steel. So you get an idea where his money came from. The actual business itself was a hobby of his. And this is like he put his first CNC equipment in 71, right? And that was his first. So I joined them in 78. We had PDP-8s, PDP-15s, PDP-11s. And I joined because it looked like a great place to learn computers, because I already had a predisposition for computers. So it suits me great. And I learned computer shit there. How did I learn it? Well, I read books. I had nothing better to do. Running CNC machines is like you set the tooling up in the machine, press a button, and read a book. I'd read, I think the first 6 months I read a whole bunch of science fiction novels, which was a lot of fun. After six months of science fiction reading, I thought, I think I'm going to read computer books. Might do me more. And 4.5 years later, I certainly don't want to do freaking fitting and turning all my life. That seems like a nowhere job. Applied for a whole bunch of computer jobs. They said, "Where's your computer degree?" I said, "What, you did a degree? I've been working on building and operating this equipment for the last 4 years, and you want a degree? I can pull it apart and put it back together in 4 hours and show you how good I am." But you won't let me do that, of course. But no. So they not a degree, whatever. So I went into plastics. Did that for 10 years, while I moonlighted as a computer engineer. That was a lot of fun. Anyway, moving right along. You can just get, started growing my own pot. Not sure I'm doing it right yet. Jumping goats and kitty cats. Jumping goats.
What might happen if I don't?
Oh wait, I'm supposed to. Meditation. Yeah, there you go. Painting goats and tits. Anyway, so I don't know. What else do we want to talk about? That was all I really had for today. I said, well, I'm back doing the meetups on Friday. So if we can, if that quarantine is finished, hit me up on Facebook. Maybe we can hang out and invite you along to meet up. It might be something that might interest you. Meet some other foreigners. What else has got going on? Apart from the fact that I don't really, life is just pleasantly uneventful. That was the thing about the whole 6,000 subscriber. Yes, we did our 6,000 subscriber video. This is obviously the 6,000 subscriber just chatting, catch up. You do realise I just did 6,000 subscribers. I think we're 6,020 now, I think it is. Where's my YouTube? What are we out there? 6,020, 6,019? That's my dashboard. So 620. There you go. So that was I'm never keeping it a secret about my revenue on the channel. I don't make much money, and it's not about the revenue, it's about having fun. But unlike some of the other vloggers around the place, not so much Thailand, but just in general, total transparency here, guys. I think that's what you like about the channel, is the fact that it's just, this is just me. Just think of it, if I get to 12,000 subscribers, I might actually make somewhere near $200 a month. There you go. All fun and games. Yeah, so that's a 6,000 subscriber channel. What have we got after nearly 18 hours? Ranking by views, it's 7 out of 10. Impression click-through rate up to 15.8. Anybody, if you actually know the metrics on YouTube, that click-through rate should say I should have a channel of 50, 60,000 subscribers, just on the click-through rate based numbers. But no, they just don't want to. The Thailand content just doesn't work for YouTube. Average viewer duration, you'll find, like, I think I don't want to sort of pick on Kev, but his typical viewer duration on his videos was 2 to 3 minutes. And his channel was with 30,000 people, so there's no subscribers with a 2 to 3 minute viewer duration. People actually sit down and watch my videos. That was a 16-minute video, so pretty much most people are watching the whole 20 minutes or whatever it is. You still get the people who click in and click out, but that's just the way YouTube works. But yeah. Thomas, okay, yeah. A few answered, yep. But yeah, so I've got no problem with telling you what my channel's doing. But yes, I have already said, if I haven't thanked you already in person, thanks very much for all your positive comments. I've had a lot of positive comments on this particular video. Go to channel analytics. I'm looking for comments. Yeah. So, oh yeah, what have I responded to? Yeah, so what do we got? There's Dowlow, there's 19 there's Mr. Mitch, Paul, Simon, Vic, Eddie, David, Mario, Dom, Serena, Andy, Jim, Zero Cool, Clint, Ian, Alvy, Robert, Dilbo. I haven't seen Dilbo today on the stream. There you go. Graham, Bill, John, Kel, Billy, Brett, Bill, again, Patty MD, Robert Mack, and Thailand Unplugged. Special thanks for always the comments and good well wishes. And again, same on my Facebook page. I love you guys. Really, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't have the interaction and the camaraderie that I get from you guys. It's one of the best things about this channel is I seem to have a really good crew. And I really sort of don't want to change anything. It's one of the reasons why I probably don't do more experimentation, because I don't want to piss off people. People just like the style I do, and this is the thing that probably holds me back on some of the other stuff I want to do, simply because of the fact that there's always that issue of is it going to fit with the audience? Katie, good morning. How you doing? Am I joining in the end? Well, I'm just wrapping things up, but again, we've still got 23 viewers going, so just me rambling on about today. A few things happened this week. Mr. Mitch, I literally watched your videos twice. Oh, so you know, 2 views from Mitch. That's what we like to see. And Dallo, thanks very much. Sorry, couple mark up. Interesting how the Australia super chats come through really quick. Brokers, the channel's registered in Australia, so this is maybe that's how I've actually thought about that. Why the American ones always seem to take longer to come through, because it has to go through that hop process. I know somebody's actually made a donation. I think from Singapore, which even takes longer. But yeah, it's a bit weird. Again, so people think this is all live, but it's relay broadcast between all their different centralised hubs around the world, and so every time the relay broadcast adds an extra 5 seconds to the delay chain. My super chat still hasn't come through, really? Oh, interesting. Okay. If you've sent one, thanks very much. I'm not going to sort of say you didn't send one, but that's YouTube, and maybe they didn't like your credit card. YouTube's a bit of a strange beast sometimes. Yeah, so Patrick. I just try to talk about things in general. Again, I think this avenue is really people are saying, what do you guys want to talk about? I'm always open to answer questions. And Cody Stratman, he's added to. God damn it, you're a Patreon, Cody. You don't have to chat me here as well, for crying out loud. God, I get Patreons that give me extra. It freaks me out. I don't do enough of my Patreons already. Right? I'm going to be doing more. Point in time, Mr. Mitch has finally come through. There you go. That's what I mean. It depends on where you are in the world. I don't know why there's so many delays around the place. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, so this section, this 2 hours, which we try to do the 2 hour mark, which is coming up to the 2 hour mark now. It's just really, it's a feedback connection. I know a lot of guys are missing coming to Thailand. A lot of guys are missing the drinking sessions we used to do. Somebody said the other day, he said, why don't you have why don't you get a bottle of Samsung or something, and every time you get a super chat, you force me to drink a shot or something. Great idea. Who's going to pay for the liver transplant? That'd send me to the hospital, I'm sure it would.
Sorry, no liver transplants allowed.
Yeah.
We'll just hook you up to a monkey.
Yeah, that's it. But it's feedback, it's connecting with the community, and having a bit of fun, getting a bit off the cuff. I went for the studio background look today. Giving you a bit of an update. But it really is. I want you to ask more questions, and if you pleasure's all mine. Yeah. If you don't do the @Warren, Judy's TV, then I don't instantly see it on the. And Andy Stubbs, thanks. Come on, Mark. I don't instantly see it if you'd ask me a question, but I do sort of catch the @Warren if you want to ask questions. And again, if you put a super chat, but you're super chatting there and you're not even asking any questions. That's just thanking me generally, and it's just a bit too much for me sometimes. Okay, as soon as Thailand lets me in, I'm on my first. I have no doubt that alas, where we are looking at maybe Q1 next year, mid Q1. That's where the betting circuit is currently looking at. Unless, of course, you want to, take 5 years off your life and get yourself sort of a remote job you can do with a computer, and you sell that land you've got, and actually, get a tourist visa, and a 5-year tourist visa, the elite visa, and work online. That's always an option. You can come here probably sort of from October. Just got to sell something, make your money that way. Jeffrey Smith, I hope you and yours are doing well. Yes, we're doing pretty good. What are your thoughts on opening up for the tourists? That was it's an article we just were just talking about there, and I'll just put that back on the screen. And probably it's something I don't do enough of. Is that one the one? That wasn't it. Yeah. So this was the article we were talking about earlier on. Let me get small again. So this has been all over the news over the last 24 hours. And Warren, thanks for marking up Warren. They are looking at long stay tourism as the first of letting people back in. So it's talking you need to be coming for at least 30 days, right, with a tourist visa. There is, forget about visa, there it is, so it finally comes through, couple of marks. Forget about visa entry, don't even entertain visa entry, it's just not going to happen. That'll be the last thing that'll be allowed back here in Thailand. What we're talking about here, the elite visa push last week got vetoed at the 11th hour. It basically didn't get written in. So then this second option came in, which is long stay tourism, right? Using, as I said, we're out there. Our funny point was more the fact that you're going to be doing the state Pliskin. It's going to be sort of escape from Phuket, because you've been allowed to fly into Phuket, and you'll be put into quarantine for 2 weeks with 2 medical checks over those 2 weeks. This is what the article goes on to talk about. One article said it was only going to be 7 days. Good morning, Joe. Yeah. One article said 7 days, and then they'd let you out into the general population, but you would not be allowed off the island for 4 weeks, right? You're basically going to be quarantined in the island with multiple checks on the island. As I said, you're going to be a prisoner of Phuket. After the 4 weeks, then you'll be allowed to enter the general population, provided everything has given Phuket the all clear. What you don't see in the discussions, this is speculated, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be how it will work. At the first case of a COVID infection in Phuket, when they open the doors in October, that island will be locked down. Nobody will be allowed off the island. It's as simple as that. Right now, when they do this, right, then there's going to be lots of checks and balances just to get off the island. Right, they're going to be, because in fact there is only one exit, there's only one bridge, and of course flights out. So pretty much you're going to be a prisoner. Everybody's going to be a prisoner. Even the locals will become prisoners. This is saying in here that the hotel staff managing the quarantined areas, they again are going to be forced to live in the hotel on the same floor as the quarantinees. Just the fact that they minimise the contact with the general population. So it's basically you're going to be a prisoner. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the long stay tourists in. The Thailand elite visa holders, this is a big push from a fairly influential company, which I still quite understand the fact that it only has a sort of a minor Thai ownership. It's actually based in Singapore. But there's a lot of money involved in I think there's some 16,000 elite visa holders on the books at the moment, and they're still selling these elite visas to come to Thailand. They've been selling them for the last 6 months, but those sales are going nowhere, so they've had to extend that 5-year or 10-year by the length that they couldn't come. That's something that's causing a complication in their system. Right, but again, they're selling something that they can't supply, so they're in breach of international trade rules. So it's a whole bunch of stuff going on there, which is really setting some waves amongst the upper echelon and this, I think, is the way that they're proposing to get around it, which is you're a long stay, would be technically what you are on a elite visa. You're a long stay tourist. You're planning to come here for a year. Right, and as we said in the video from earlier this week, was the one with the interview and the other from on here, as Jerry said, the one thing he misses, he likes to travel in Thailand and bounce out of the country, go in Laos, go Myanmar, go Cambodia, go Vietnam, just travel around the place, go Malaysia, go to the Philippines. He's been trapped in Thailand. He's not allowed out because if he does go out, he would more than likely not be allowed back in. Right, so again, we're prisoners of Thailand. Not that it worries me. I've not really been a travel buff. I've travelled, but I only travelled for work or business, or I needed to travel somewhere because my girl was here. And quite frankly, I'm not really, after 7 years of 4 times a year travelling backwards and forwards on a plane, right, to see your girlfriend, and 4 years before that travelling from Sydney to Melbourne, and Sydney to New Zealand, and Sydney to Bangkok and all that sort of stuff in my job, you get sort of quite over freaking air travel. It's like, it's a bus trip, and I can't get up and walk around very easily, it's one of those sort of things. And of course our company they worked for, they would upgrade you to business class if the flight was 9 hours or longer. And unfortunately they classified Sydney to Thailand as an 8.5-hour trip, so I only got premium economy when they flew me, which was a bit of a shit. Little bit more leg room, but it was still economy. You get sort of quite over air travel. I enjoy the tranquility of sitting down in front of a computer and watching TV, watching movies, watching YouTube, watching other people's experiences. I can get off on that. It's what I like. But not everybody's like me. But anyway, I do feel like I am rambling. Okay, so yeah, so I think Thailand from October, if you've got, this is where it comes, if I use an Australian situation, if Andy wanted to come, he would need to look at 8 weeks holiday, right? So long service leave may be possible. But how does that going to work? Well, it's going to be 2 weeks in Phuket, right? After spending 4 weeks in Phuket, which might, then 2 weeks in the general population of Phuket, then you'd be allowed out for another 2 weeks into general Thailand to tour around the rest of the Thailand, and getting to see a few other places in Thailand. But then you're still got to prepare to go back at the 6-week mark, because when you fly back to Australia, guess what? You're going to be shoved in a hotel in Australia for 2 weeks. You still can't work unless, of course, you can work remotely. So there's your 8-week holiday. That's your long service leave completely shot. Yeah, 8 weeks of long service leave becomes a 4-week holiday with 4 weeks in quarantine. Really, is that going to? It's not going to work. I'm pretty sure most people are not going to deal with that shit. But that's what life's like these days, isn't it? We all have to make exceptions to the rule. And hopefully the planet will soon wake up to the fact that this has just been another method that's controlling an uncontrollable population. Because quite frankly, if it was Ebola, if it was H1N1, if it was SARS, right? And look, they didn't lock the countries down for that, and higher death rates than those. I did actually see a report today that a strain has been discovered in Singapore that is not as virulent as the first strain that Thailand got. But how much news is going to be on that? One of the biggest problems we've got with the whole thing is the fact that it is a virus, and viruses have one methodology. It is a living organism. I think people forget that it's a living organism that is part of the living ecosystem in our bodies. Every ecosystem in our body has a propensity, I think was the word, to reproduce and to grow, right? Same with viruses. It'll try to subvert some sort of system to extend its propagation. It wants to breed, right? It's only going to get the right petri dish. It's either going to become a cure or it's going to become the Black Plague, right? That's what happens. That's what viruses do, right? And this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest threat we've got with any virus. It's always been the outstanding threat with the flu virus as well. Put it in the right petri dish, and it could become anything. It's a virus. Its genome is designed to find ways to subvert your ecosystem, your body ecosystem, to prolong its life. Unfortunately, influenza up for the last 100 years has really never had the smoking gun. This one here, supposedly, when you look at the genome, it's got proportions of HIV in it. Well, that's one thing that's not common to the standard influenza coronavirus. Where did that come from? It's also got genome sequences that matches SARS. It's got nothing to do with bats or lizards. It's got to do with SARS. It's got to do with SARS, right? A virus that has been created or been studied for the last 15 years. How did it get in the genome of this virus? And you can't deny the fact that those medical journals do exist. You don't see it there in the mainstream media because the mainstream media don't want to tell you the fact that the virus was created. It's created in a lab. That broke out because somebody was careless. But hey, who am I? I'm not an expert. I just read a lot. When you're retired, that's what you do. You read a lot. Anyway, that's probably talking about COVID's probably going to have the video demonetised now. So there you go. Sent a report saying that if you agree to spend 30 days in Phuket, the first 14 days quarantine, you can fly. That's right. That's exactly what we're talking about. This is the article that I just Google searched it, so I just grabbed the top one. That was the top ranking one on my search engine. Everybody's got it out there. It's there. Thailand, yeah. So look, we went through it a few times. So yeah, this is something that you've got an option to come. Again, sort of Niall would have a possibility to come back, right? Because he works remotely. He works in that field where he doesn't require an office building. So quite potentially, it's not going to hurt Niall to come and work in Phuket for 4 weeks, But we all can't be Niles of the world. The lucky leprechaun. Damn him! Damn him! Yeah, 2 tests a day. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so yeah, and excuse me. There are these hydrochlorox and the invamycin or what it is. Again, I always look at the FNORD in the statement, and that is right. Doctors have looked at something. They've seen a pattern in all these cases, which is not really discussed in any of these articles. If it's treated early, then the symptoms don't escalate into pneumonia, which is what's killing you, right? We don't talk about that, which is the fact that this particular virus doesn't kill you. Pneumonia and side effects from existing ailments kill you. That's what you die from. Pneumonia, right? How long has pneumonia been on this planet? I don't know. I could Google search it. That's what happens when you don't treat it. But you're finding if people are going, well, we haven't had a case in 80 days, but that's finding now the fact that if it's early detection, right, the prescribed course of antibiotics, right, anti-inflammatory, so basically stopping the lungs from inflaming. I'm sure that if they did a study on Ventolin, asthmatics with Ventolin, because the Ventolin spray is used to what they call relax the bronchial tubes, right? So it basically is an anti-inflammatory in the lung cavities. I'm pretty sure if you did a study on Ventolin with zinc and vitamin C, would also probably have very positive results in the first 3 to 5 days of detection, right? These are drugs that are already available. It just requires a doctor to say, well, let's try this course of action. Unfortunately, A doctor is no longer can be a doctor, and I've been saying this all along. A doctor is no longer allowed to treat anybody. They are allowed to provide advice as outlined in the medical journals. If they veer from a medical journal, then they can be held liable for malpractice. And the malpractice suits, right, doctors lose a lot of them, because if it's black and white, you know, you prescribe something that was not certified by the medical board, that is an instant malpractice suit and you lose. So what's a doctor to do? Lose his job or keep his job? You know, he's got a family to look after, so he's behind a rock and a hard place. You know? But I bet you if you go to some of the sort of more, you know, like go to some of the dark web or some of the more obscure Reddit journals, you know, you'll probably find people have tried something like Ventolin with zinc and vitamin C or something like that and found positive results, right? You've got to think about what the symptoms are, which is, you know, inflammation in the lungs, which is the bronchial tubes get blocked up. So, you know, maybe Alupin, you know, like that was a drug I was on when I was a kid, you know, because I had GERD, you know, basically badly prescribed, but it's just one of those things that help relieve the depression in the lungs, you know. So maybe Alupin is another drug that hasn't been trialed. You know, somebody just obviously in these drug tests that they do, it's just somebody just, you know, is not held over the barrel by the medical fraternity or the drug companies or whatever that provides their living. Those people are experimenting like doctors are allowed to do, but unfortunately it's third world countries like India, possibly China, possibly Malaysia, people who, you know, places that don't have such a stringent, you know, propagation for litigation, right, if you do something. You know, the drugs don't kill, right, and properly administered at the right doses, right, and they probably are finding that all sorts of different things will work, so long as you don't let it escalate, right? And the other thing, so long as you don't let the basic population spread it so it finds that one perfect petri dish that turns this particular virus into, right, the next Black Plague. It has all the markers to become next HIV. It has all the markers to become the next SARS. It has all the markers to become potentially the worst virus on the planet if it's given the right environment. That's what we're going to deal with. Now, I'm no expert. I just happen to be a little bit more intelligent than people running the countries these days. And of course, that's the problem. You know, would I run for politics? Not freaking likely. Be surrounded by a bunch of freaking morons. Not likely. I couldn't deal with that shit. You know, I'd rather just, you know, live a modest lifestyle in Thailand and enjoy my next 20 to 30 years, you know, without any bullshit. That's my life. But yeah, I don't think there's enough money in the world to really put me in politics. That's just a scary thought. Anyway, what else we got? We're on to, there is a research drug called DOI, written up in Wikipedia. Powerful, so a circulatory inflammatory order, the magnitude less than, what is it? So what's it called? DOI Wiki. Okay, so DOI. So we can find. No, it's I'd need something more than that. You'd have to give me sort of see if I can put a couple more words on there, and more search. Nothing's coming up there. But again, I'm using DuckDuckGo, which is a search engine that doesn't really get leveraged by people buying into the search results. So it's more of a realistic search rather than yes, place in New York, so 7% of the population got it, but the built-up herd immunity running a place is question. Yes, I've heard about that now. And again, the 3 cases we found internally are the same thing. The testing process they're using in Thailand is now testing antibodies and flagging antibodies as the CV as well. But this was bound to happen because, again, it's, like these people have come over from overseas, they've done their quarantine, they've been found virus-free, they've mixed with the population. Now they're trying to backpedal with these cases as well to find out whether it's created a spill-on effect. There's a fairly high confidence level, the fact that once you have the antibodies, it's not you are not going to recreate the virus inside your own body, but unfortunately the testing process is a test that picks up these antibodies and flags it as a COVID as well, so it's a bit of a problem. Hey, Warren for president of the expat island, yes, why not? Yeah, God, what did it cost? It's going to cost him a fortune. Stan Campbell, thanks Stan. As he actually finally made it, did you Stan? I haven't sort of seen you pop on before, but I know you keep on missing the timing. I think that's because you're from England, so God, what time? It must be 7 o'clock in the morning or something for you guys. Oh no, it was 7 o'clock, it was 3 o'clock, it was 7, 12, less 7, 5 o'clock in the morning. God, you're up early. Big payday for pharmaceutical firms, yes, I know. Bill Gates vaccine. Well, what is it? I think that we had the meme for the what do you call it? The Russians. They've got they've put their virus out of the pub. Their antivenin or their whatever the thing they've created. I reckon it's just vodka mixed with lemon juice, because I've been drinking that since I had the kidney stones. Vodka and lemon juice. So the cure-alls everything. I haven't been sick a day, since I've been drinking vodka and lemon juice. But it's got all the markers for the cure for CV, right? It's got vodka in it. It don't kill anything. It's got vitamin C in it. And it's lemon juice, so it's got a particular enzyme in it. Who knows? And I think I did read that there's an enzyme in pineapples. They've just detected recently. I think this week or last week something came up. It's this particular enzyme that they've found in pineapple is a particular anti-inflammatory and has a particular effect in petri dishes against the virus as well. I've always been saying maybe it's something that in the diet here in Thailand that's kept it at a minimum. Thais eat a lot of pineapple. It's one of the staple street foods. You'll see it everywhere you go, and even I'm quite partial to it as well. So pineapple juices, pineapple smoothies, pineapple everything. It could be something as simple as pineapple juice is kept Thailand free because it's in their diet. And of course anybody who eats ham and pineapple pizza, and don't shoot me for that one. What's the ratio of vodka to lemon? I don't know. As long as it tastes right. 6:20 a.m. Thanks, Stan. Put a worm in the glass of water, and I'll be put a worm in glass of water, it'll die. Drinking vodka, you won't get worm. Exactly. People don't realise how obvious these things are. Raffle the I'm not giving away the Kawasaki cap. No way. Last one, I had one of my Patreons.
Well, you just got it, didn't you?
Yeah. One of my Patreons bought my last Kawasaki cap, and I have, maybe when we move house, it'll turn up. Right, but right now I lost it. I do not have a clue where I lost my last Kawasaki hat. So that's it. It doesn't go on the hat rack anymore. I've got 24 caps on the rack there. I only wear the one now, and I got rid of the Harley Davidson hat still over there. I can always I can always switch to the Illuminatus the Illuminatus hat, which is one of my favourites, but it's just got it's not a really nice comfortable fit. And of course the other favourite I've got is the Dillygaff hat. I don't know, you've got to be an Australian to understand Dillygaff. Does it look like I give enough of that sort of shit anyway. What else we got? Well, like I said, I'm up to you guys. You can keep the conversation going if you want, but I do feel like I've drunk about enough water today, and I'm going to have to do something about that. Unless, of course, I get you talking amongst yourselves, or get, well, Olgie, he's just disappeared. Unless, of course, he was to take up the show for 5 minutes. I'm going to have to wrap it up. I don't have a big enough bladder to go for 4 hours on drinking water. They're not promoting the drug just that. It deserves research. Yes, I know. Is that right? Does it glow in the dark? I haven't checked it. It's got green in it, but I don't think it glows. Like, it depends. If they got blue, like they got what they call the blue fluoros. I guess the Kawasaki logo will stick out, and I just haven't been to any of those places recently to really test it out. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yes, Andy. Look. I'm going to wrap it up. I think we've gone for long enough. I know you got Stephen this afternoon. He'll be on 6 o'clock tonight. He'll keep you entertained for another couple of hours. If I get to have dinner at the right time, I might join him as well. Just depends on what's going on. But yeah, thanks for all the super chat, guys. It's always greatly appreciated. It tells me I'm doing something right. Finally, sort of getting some sort of feedback working there. I'd like to get a little bit more contentious with the discussions, but again, I worry too much about offending too many people, and because I could probably get really offensive on some sort of quarters, and I think we have a good crowd of people, and taking certain particular treks down sort of Discordianism or sort of esoteric studies or conspiracy theory stuff, which I love reading. I could lose more people than I gain, so they're particular tinfoil hat subjects that I think can't be discussed in an open forum. But they're always fun to talk about anyway. And I'm pretty sure most of the regulars here don't get offended, so but these are sort of things I want to explore, and that's what the Saturday mornings are all about. I think we're just going to do a little bit of exploration and see where it all goes from there. Anyway, I'm going to get out of your face. Where's the tune? Get the closing tune for all the splash screen and everything else. I'll say good night, and thanks for joining. It's always great to have you here, and always welcome to have suggestions, anything to do. This is what we do. I don't have a big board of people to come up with ideas. You're the board. You're the creative directors of the program. I'm just the guy that brings it to the stage. That's all. I'm the comedian. I'm the entertainer. And we'll see what we can do with that. I think the more I do it, the better I'll get at it. So how's that? Okay. Peace out, guys. I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.
I want you to